All right, guys, welcome into the AfterSchrock. Thanks for joining us here on the program. I'll go as long as my voice will allow me to. I was struggling at some points during the show to not cough into a live microphone. It was pretty rough, so forgive you. If you were watching the feed, you probably saw me cough, but you didn't hear it. You're like, that's weird. He's a super silent cough. I have a cough button. It actually says cough right on it, and you push it, and then you cough, and then you let go, and you're back. And it's like it never even happened. So it's kind of the wonders of technology, the wonders of 1950s technology, you know? Oh, golly. All right, so today was a challenging show. There are several things going on at Schrock right now that were talk-worthy. There are several things going on in the world that are talk-worthy. I had 1 hour of airtime to work with, and the show isn't the show if we don't take calls. So we need to get the callers in because we're here to help people, right? So let's get those callers in. I didn't even get to the 5G story. The 5G story is the funniest story of them all today. So Verizon wanted to launch their 5G service, and they wanted to be the first in the world to have 5G. So they knew Samsung in South Korea was releasing their new S10 5G phone. We've talked about it on the show before. And that there was a waiting 5G network that was going to be activated at the same time that phone was released for it to be used with that network, right? So Verizon knows that that's happening supposedly on like the 9th. And so what they do is they launch their service 1 full week early. 1 week early to make sure that everything is good to go. Hold on just a second. I've got a big speaker in my ear over here. I'm going to go turn that down. Enjoy the giant KFAB logo, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Thank you for the music. I appreciate that over there. That guy can't sing. All right. So anyway, hey, Richard. So Verizon wants to be the first. They launch it a week early. Then, when they launch it, first of all, Verizon doesn't have a 5G phone. So they have a 5G network, but no phone, because Samsung is making the only 5G phone right now. And it's in South Korea for the launch of the South Korea network. It hasn't even been launched in the US yet. So Verizon takes a 4G phone that has an expandable module jack on the back, and they jack a 5G like brick on it. So now it's a 5G phone, okay? So we've got this like, here's my 5G phone. Look at me, I'm super tech. And then they have their 5G network, and they're going to be the first in the world. We're going to have bragging rights forever. This is awesome, except, Samsung Electronics on Friday, April 5th, released the Galaxy S10 5G, the world's first available smartphone with 5th-generation comms technology. On Wednesdays, the South became the first country to commercially launch a 5G service with 3 super-fast networks, not 1, not 2, but 3 fully built super-fast networks going live, offering data speeds that allow users to download entire movies in less than a second. Hours later, United States giant Verizon began commercial services in Chicago and Minneapolis after AT&T made a 5G system available to selected users in parts of 12 cities in December. So, hours later, they got beat by hours because Samsung said, oh, no, you don't. We're going to be the first. And they launched it. Now, here's the difference. Samsung in South Korea, they've spent a year building out the network. So when they turned on their 5G phones, it was like butter. It just worked, baby. It was fast. It was awesome. Now, 5G is millimeter wave technology. Fancy pants talk. The waves go up and down really fast, like, as opposed to a huge sine wave that goes up and down. They're 1 millimeter wavelength, right? That's the length of the wave, 1 millimeter, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So up, down, up, down, up, down. When it hits something like a wall, it can't go up and over or under and over through. It just stops. So you need a 5G transmitter here, and you need one here, and you need one here, and you need one here, 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 and here to get every angle going and to properly irradiate your biscuits. So you need so many more towers, and we've talked about this on the show. 5G requires so many more towers that when cities like Lincoln have a ridiculous tax on cell phone towers, on the transmitters that go on cell phone towers of like $1,000 or something a transmitter, you're never going to get 5G in Lincoln because it just requires that many. We're talking there's got to be transmitters on top of almost every building in town. I mean, it is a huge infrastructure build out, but you get much better speed out of it. Okay, so how did it work in Chicago? Because, you know, in South Korea, they spent a year building out the network, and in Chicago, you know, they strapped a 5G brick on a 4G phone and, you know, like cranked up a tower and said, hey, we're 5G. So some guys actually went out and tested it. They filmed themselves going around town. They went to a coffee shop and they got a window seat because they couldn't get a signal inside the coffee shop. So they said, maybe if we sit by the window. So they sat by the window, and the millimeter wave technology can't go through glass. So they didn't get a signal. So they went outside, but it was raining, you see, for the launch in Chicago. So they went outside and stood in the rain to try to use their 5G brick phone. And they were able to get a signal, and they were able to download some data, but it was actually slower than the 4G network. So yeah, without the proper infrastructure, 5G is not a magic bullet that is going to make everything better for everybody. 5G is what's going to make anyone who has a tall building a lot of money by putting transmitter towers on the top of the buildings, because that's what's going to make 5G sing. Is the more transmitters you have, the better it's going to be. So there you go. So 5G, it's not ready yet. So I wouldn't go out and buy this super special phone that's got a brick thing that you can add a 5G component onto it. I wouldn't mess with that. I wouldn't go out and buy the Samsung S10 5G phone because it's only compatible with like a couple different modems. And so eventually when everyone builds out their 5G network, there's going to be huge benefit for interoperability because the transmitters AT&T is using are different than the ones Sprint's going to use, are different than the ones Verizon's going to use. But if everybody can have access, interoperable access to everybody else's transmitters, then we're going to get a much better coverage product, right? So the Samsung S10 5G phone will only use 2 of the 5 available types of transmitters. So what'll happen, wait for the Note, okay? If you really want a 5G phone, wait for the Note, I don't know, the Note 10? Yeah, I think it's the Note 10 coming out. Wait for the Note 10. When it comes out, there are rumors that it will have full 5G capability with all 5 frequencies. If that's the case, that's the phone I'll buy. That's what I'm waiting for. All righty, let's see. On Facebook, it states that this is the 4/17/19. Did I put the date? I did. I put the date in wrong. I wonder if I'll be able to edit that later. It's the 7th, not the 17th. That was a fat finger there. So that's on me. Sorry. Facebook feed was great today, and it makes no sense because I was totally wireless the entire show. It should be garbage today because that's why we switched to the wire, because it was garbage. Maybe we switched to the wire and then they got an upgraded modem. That's all right. I'm meeting with Scott Voorhees tomorrow, and we are going to sit down and we are going to have, what's the right word for this? We're going to have a techgasm is what we're going to have. And he's going to say, Thor, I want to have a super cool outfitted studio. What do I need to do? And I'm going to say, Scott, you need more light, a lot more light. Not light from way up there either. Light from down here. Light. Radio people have an aversion to light. They're like, ah, vampire. Like when I first started here, half of these light bulbs were unscrewed. And I had to screw them back in because otherwise you get these bags under your eyes and you're like, you look like Lurch, you know, with big shadows in your eye sockets and everything. You know, especially if you already have shadows in your eye sockets, it makes it look really bad. So we're talking new computers, laptops, cameras, lighting. We're gonna go top to bottom, everything, what we need to do. I have no guarantee that any of it's going to actually happen, but he's bringing a person along from the sales department. And in radio, that's always a good sign, you see. That means they understand there's going to be a cost to some of this stuff. And their plan to pay for that cost is to provide us with some other stuff. So, you know, I'm thinking, I'm open to your suggestions, but I'm thinking KFAB Studio, powered by Schrock Innovations, every time they talk about the KFAB Studio. I mean, how often do they say KFAB Studios? They say at least once an hour, right?
Probably.
Yeah, so at least live from the KFAB Studios, the KFAB Live Weather Watch, you know, what. So every time you say that, powered by Schrock Innovations, you know, for all time. I think that, or at least until the technology, until we get rid of the computers, then I think That's a totally reasonable trade. What else could I ask for? I mean, I could, Scott, do some live commercials for me. We can do that. But that's so boring. That's so like everybody does that. What would actually, hey, maybe he's got the magical maintenance stick that I can whack my customers with to be like, whack, it's time for maintenance. Honestly, this has been the slowest start to a maintenance checkup sale we've ever had. And part of that is, we do segmented marketing, right? So we don't send the email. We don't send the call, the voice call. We don't send the SMS messages. We do the radio show, we do Facebook, and then we let that sit for a week. Well, then this week we had 2 like 70-degree days. Who would have thought that was going to happen in April, right? So it's really nice out. And what's going to happen is it's going to frost like next week or something stupid. Everyone's out planning stuff and it's going to frost. So if I laugh, I start to cough. And you're not supposed to suppress coughs, but nobody wants to hear me hack. But but basically, so it's the slowest start for a maintenance checkup sale. So if you're going to come in, now is the time to come in, guys. You can get in now. You can get in on the bench. I said there's at least one. There's more than one open because we geared up for it. We staffed up for it. We crushed the stuff that came in. And now we're like, what's next, coach? And the benches are like wiped. So come on in. You can get in. You can get in and out real quick. And things are not going to stay this way forever. We are going to be pushing out the phone calls and the emails and things. And when that happens, things are going to get real. I didn't talk a whole lot about Safe Upgrade, primarily because we're running low on the Safe Upgrade licenses. I figure the people who are going to buy it probably already have bought it, and the people who didn't buy it know they're not buying it and are going to wish they would have bought it. Behind the scenes indications, guys, show we're seeing the same pattern we saw for the update 2 updates ago, where there are unresolved problems in the testing rings that were not solved, that are included in the update that are going to come out, and somehow magically it's going to be okay. This update's not going to be okay. It's not going to go smoothly. Get Safe Upgrade if you haven't done so already. Let me see if there are any left, actually, before I tell you to do that. SchrockInnovations.com. We did send a phone call out yesterday, or Friday, to people who bought Safe Upgrade before but have not purchased this time, because some people do think that if you bought one for like the last October update, you've got one for October, that it's good for now. Well, I don't think I used that one in October. Well, that was for version 1809. This is for version 1903. So you need one for version 1903. You could still use the 1809 one and get up to 1809, but then you're not going to be on 1903. You figure you need the right version. You need the current version. So it says we have some available, and we have, looks like just over 100 left in stock. So that's good. That's good, actually. That's right on target. Because what's going to happen is the day that this comes out, I'm going to go live and tell everyone it's time to launch your Safe Upgrade. If you need to do it right now, otherwise your computer is going to have all kinds of problems. People are going to freak out and go buy Safe Upgrade at that point. So having a few left is a good thing. If you haven't got yours yet, make sure you do get one for each computer that you have. You need one for every computer. But I wanted to get the message out about preventative maintenance on the show today, because it's a trend, actually. We've been seeing the number of people coming in for preventative maintenance has been trending down. I think a lot of it is when we do maintenance every 6 months on your computer and stuff doesn't break, people tend to start questioning why they need the preventative maintenance because nothing's broken before. And it's classic. We see this also. It's one of the reasons why we, with the new endpoint update that's coming out, we're going to be sending you monthly reports on how many things we've done to protect you, because people have no idea. Let me log in real quick. Well, we're going to be starting this update this week, actually, pushing this around. But I'm going to log into our partner management console over at Symantec here, and it's going to tell me what some of the threats are and what the most recent ones are. But basically, when somebody gets attacked, I get an email every single time one of you gets attacked. Sometimes multiple emails because you get attacked. Usually there's not just one attack. Usually they come in pairs. It's like a left-right combo punch thing. And then the portal gets alerts here too. So I look at the alerts and I say, okay, that's normal. We see that all the time. No big deal. Or, whoa, ransomware. That's serious. What's going on here? And then I'll make sure or I'll have the staff make sure that everything is working well for you in the Symantec portal. That's one of the reasons why you're paying $65 a year for Symantec Endpoint, guys, is you get this active protection. It all happens behind the scenes, but you don't get a report that tells you what we're doing behind the scenes. So let me see. In the last 7 days, okay. These are just the high-risk detections. So we have roughly 3,000 customers with endpoint software. On the March 31st, about 30 of you had a high-risk intrusion or infection attempt. So yeah, that's significant. 1% of you got an infection attempt, and that's pretty much consistent throughout the days. Now, blocked detections. This is different. Okay, this is how many. Not just that's high risk. These are the ones. High risk ones are like ransomware, Bitcoin miners. Nasty ones. How many of the little annoying ones did we block? Well, let's see. On the 31st, we blocked almost 300. We saw a big pop around the 4th, which was 3 days ago, where we hit just about 500 blocked detections total. The very last, let's see, we're in a ThreatCon 2 right now, so the threats are better than 1, but not terrible. Let's see here. What else do we got? I'm trying to see where I can see if I can pull a name, because that'd be really cool. Like, who was the last customer to get attacked today? You know, that'd be a cool thing to pull here. So I'm going to pop into the names of our customers real quick here. Okay, yep, there we go. Okay, so right now we have 128 quarantined items as of today. For today, 128 of you this morning have gone on the internet, probably tried to go to facerook.com/Schrock Innovations, and it took you to the fake tech support website, and then we stopped that, or we quarantined a downloaded infection. Okay, we've got, where's that report? Okay, so basically when I'm looking here at the report, it's telling me that, oh yeah, here we go, over 1,047 times this week we've had a customer who has gone to a fake tech support website. That's like when you think you're calling MSN and you click on the website to get the phone number. If you have endpoint, we'll block the website. You don't even get to see it because it's not real. It's fake. And so we're doing our best to keep you safe with Symantec Endpoint here. One of the cool things that a customer asked me to talk about here on the show today, the AfterSchrock, is there's a new protection coming out for Android phones and iOS devices and tablets. We're hoping that will be out next week. We have to get everybody migrated into the new Symantec Endpoint first, so you're going to see a pop-up on your screen that says, hey, you're being, your computer's going to reboot in 20 minutes. You can't cancel out of it. That's not your Windows update. That's this update. We're trying desperately to get that done before the Windows update happens, so that they're separate events and not one big glorious spaghetti jumble. But basically, we're trying to get everything done on that so that we can also enable you to get into the endpoint for iOS and Android, because that stuff is getting real. There were 2 articles. Over half of the malware in the Google Play Store comes from click fraud apps. So what's a click fraud app? It's an app that you install on your phone that is a simple game or something, legit thing, but the way they put the ads on the screen, they shift things around so that you think you're tapping on like a something to do something in the game, and instead you're like tap, 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 and everything shifts, and you're tapping on an ad now. And then that ad takes you to an infection site that comes back and tries to infect your phone. So did we not say this like 2 weeks ago? This is starting to happen, where we're seeing smartphones get infected with pop-up advertisements and malware campaigns, things like that, using the smartphone as an entry point to get into your network. If you have an iPhone, the only time your iPhone talks to your Mac or your PC is when you dock it to back it up, if you don't have iCloud. And even if you have iCloud, you still might dock it to back it up or to transfer media to and from the phone. Well, if your phone gets infected with an infected app, it can pass the infection to your computer or vice versa. Now, this is especially true if you're downloading apps from unauthorized stores, which sounds like super scary, and it used to be. Like, on the darknet, oh, I download my apps from the darknet. What could go wrong there? But no, Amazon has their own app store now. And in fact, if you play games, or your kids or your grandkids play games where they're buying in-game purchases, like Mobile Strike or Clash of Clans or whatever. Don't ever download those from the Google Play Store. Download those from the Amazon store, and then you can get all the in-game purchases for like 20% off because it's going through Amazon instead. But you have to enable unauthorized stores, and you have to go through all the security steps to do that. So, and on an Apple, you just can't do that. So it's pretty rough. So long story short, guys, is the phones are becoming an attack vector, and we need to protect your phones. So we are going to have a special. It's kind of our 20th anniversary twist this month. We're going to have a special on endpoint services for your phones. As soon as it's available, we'll have more information on that. But right now, I kind of feel like we're selling too many things at one time, and it makes it hard to do them well. So today, I should have been scaring the bejesus out of people about Safe Upgrade. I really should have been, because that update is coming any minute now. And I really don't want to be in a scenario where, see, what happens now is people who buy now, they get through the process of buying it. If they never bought anything online before, or they're new to our website and buying things, sometimes there's some confusion there. So getting through that now is great. Then they know how to log in. Then they know where their product is to download it. Now people, they're downloading the product and putting it on their computer, and I'm getting support emails saying, hey, I'm trying to run it and it says it's not time yet. What am I doing wrong? Like, you're not doing anything wrong. It's not time yet. They haven't released the update yet. When they do, it'll be time, and we'll send out a message it's time, and then you'll run it, and the end say we'll unlock Safe Upgrade so it'll run for you, okay? But what happens is, if everybody buys Safe Upgrade, when I send out the, oh gosh, the update's out, all of this support gets compressed into one moment in time, which isn't bad for one person or 10 people or even 50 people. But 100 people, it gets to be overwhelming. So if you haven't already done it, please take a moment to go to SchrockInnovations.com, pick up your copy of Safe Upgrade. If you're going there to get a maintenance certificate anyway, the ones that are good for 6 months, you could add them both to the cart. One thing I thought was hilarious was we had somebody who bought 2 Safe Upgrades, which I say only buy them for computers you care about, right? So if the kids have a junker computer that you don't really care if it blows up, don't buy Safe Upgrade for that. Don't buy, So we had one customer who bought 2 preventative maintenance checkups and 1 Safe Upgrade. So they care enough about the computer to maintain it, but not enough to make sure it gets safely upgraded. The whole point of the preventative maintenance is to avoid unexpected repair bills. The whole point of Safe Upgrade is to avoid a specific nasty unplanned upgrade bill. They kind of go together. So yeah, if you're buying maintenance certificates for a computer, you should also be doing a Safe Upgrade on that computer. It's that simple. And if you don't really care about the computer, then you shouldn't do either. That's you, Keith. All right, let's see, what else do we got? There's anything else I didn't get to today? Not really. iOS 12, should you do it? There's some tool upgrades, some things like that. This one appears to be pretty solid. There's a few reports about battery life, which is always something. That happens every time, and usually after a few recharge cycles, the phone figures that out. So all in all, it looks like 12.2 is actually a solid release, so stamp of approval. Go ahead and go for it. The pioneers have taken the arrows. All right, let's see. What do we got? Thor's a time traveler. Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? A friend he has. Brian says a friend he has is sure his neighbor has 5G. I had to tell him it doesn't exist here yet. He's okay. So there's 5G millimeter wave cell phone, 5th generation. That's why they call it 5G. Right now we're in 4th generation. Next comes 5th, and then as Trump said, he even wants 6G, right? So 6th generation is coming. That comes after 5, you see. But on your wireless router, you also have a 5G network. But it doesn't stand for 5th generation. It stands for 5 gigahertz. So you're both right. He does not have 5G cellular coverage, but he does have 5 gigahertz coverage. So in your home, if you have a newer router, you may notice when you scan for networks, it says like your network and then your network 5G. Well, the difference between the two, the your network, whatever that is, that one is ye old network. It's got a long, wide transmission radius. It's a little more stable. It's also slower. The 5G is designed for streaming. So your 5G network is going to have a shorter distance. So it's not going to reach the far-flung corners of the house, but it's going to be faster for streaming. So if at all possible, you should have your TVs and any devices you're streaming, like phones and things like that, set up on the 5G network in your home, and everything else should be on the 2.4 gigahertz network or the 2.4G network. It doesn't sound as sexy as the 5G network. The 2.4G network is your regular, just our network. It doesn't say 2.4 all the time, but the 5G one is for streaming. You can use it for other things like video gaming. It's a little bit faster. You'll get better pings and things like that because it's a faster, unless you're far away. If you're far away, then you want 2.4 gigahertz. Most of your home networking things like Ring video doorbells, Roombas, things like that have to be set up on the 2.4 gigahertz network, not the 5G. So you're both right. Let's see. Hey, Carolyn, how are you doing? That is a great question. Can we do preventative maintenance over the Schrock desk? This is something that we've been working on cracking this nut for a while, because it would be really convenient for our customers to be able to schedule an appointment and have a technician connect remotely to your computer and then just do your maintenance checkup. It would allow us to sell the maintenance checkup as a scheduled service, meaning you could make an annual payment basically and just have a maintenance checkup. And then when it's your time for your maintenance, we give you a call that week and say, let's schedule a maintenance. Yeah, you don't have to bring it in. We're going to do it right over the Schrock desk. So we can do just about everything over the Schrock desk except for physical cleaning. We cannot do physical cleaning. Obviously, no one's invented a way for us to do that yet, which is one of the most important, especially I cannot stress in laptops how important it is, guys. It is so critically, vitally, oh my goodness, important that you get the little lint blanket blown out of that fan in the bottom of the laptop. Yeah, it's huge. But we can't do physical cleaning, and as I mentioned during the program, we can't properly test the computer's memory. We can run a test that would tell us like, oh my gosh, the memory is terribly bad. But if the memory was terribly bad, we'd be having blue screens and all kinds of other problems anyway. So we can do a pseudo maintenance check, basically is what we call it. The problem is it fair to charge the same price for the pseudo maintenance check as we do for the full all-out maintenance checkup? So we've kind of avoided doing that at the moment. Now, that may not always be the case. We may eventually say, it's important to have a virtual maintenance checkup done once a year and a physical maintenance checkup done once a year. We may separate them into two separate products, basically. And instead of recommending one every 6 months, we recommend each one once a year. But as you can see, we're moving toward a scenario where we have products that are regular. We've talked about taking it's a real pain for me every 6 months to get on the radio and re-explain to everybody, remind everybody why you need to have Safe Upgrade. But I've got to do it, right? Why don't we have a subscription service for that, where you pay, maybe you get a discount, because for people who order, when you reorder, like, so if you bought Safe Upgrade for the first time, next time it comes out, we send you an email before we talk about it with anybody else with a coupon code. And that coupon code saves you about $5 off the purchase price. So maybe we just create a subscription service where you're subscribed to Safe Upgrade, you get it every time, you get the discounted coupon code rate every time, so you get about $10 off a year for buying it as a subscription, and it's set and ready to go. We've talked about doing that. It requires us to create a second product. We have subscription Safe Upgrade, and we have Come As You Are Safe Upgrade. And it's just confusing. It's too many variables. So now imagine on the radio show I'm saying, get a maintenance checkup, get a Safe Upgrade subscription, or a Come As You Are Safe Upgrade, or a maintenance checkup subscription for a virtual maintenance checkup or a physical maintenance checkup. Yeah, I mean, it just gets stupid. It gets really stupid. So with all that said and done, I'm open to ideas. A lot of you have said in the past, yeah, Thor, I would subscribe to something like that, and I know you would. You're also the people who are listening to the show, and you're jumping on that bandwagon and getting those Safe Upgrades before they're sold out. Last time we had to make an extra 150 available because people were upset because the update came out and there were no Safe Upgrades left. And they were confused. They thought I was going to wait till the update came out to buy it. We're trying to get ahead. We're trying to get ahead of the curve here so that we have good support rather than like fly by the seat of our pants and on fire support. We don't want to do that. So unfortunately, they may be sold out by then. but we made some extra available last time. And then, of course, that was the time when the update went completely sideways and we had to pull it back and relaunch it. And it was a mess because Microsoft jacked up the update. So Murphy's Law, that's what happens. But so if you haven't got your safe upgrade and your maintenance certificates, go ahead and get them. Carolyn, obviously, unless you're planning on being in Nebraska at some point soon, probably would skip the maintenance one. Honestly, let's look at it this way. If you're geographically distant, you probably get more value out of being a Schrock Desk customer than you do out of being getting maintenance checkups on sale for half off. Because as a Schrock Desk customer, you get all labor services half off. It was hilarious. So new Jacob in the Papillion Service Center, he's almost been with us 90 days. And he's helping me move some stuff, and we're just making small talk. And he's like, Thor, you wouldn't believe how many people have called me this week and said that you said on the radio that people who have the Schrock Desk get all labor services half off. Can you believe that? And I looked at him and I'm like, no, they do. That's like one of the big benefits of being a Schrock Desk subscriber. Without that, it's like $30 a month for what? Wouldn't it make more sense for me just to call him when I need help? And he's like, oh, wow. So yeah, you were the one that was wrong. All those people calling you were right. You get half off maintenance checkups, half off data transfers. So it was one of those things where let me educate you, son. You got to listen to the radio show, buddy. That's one of the things. I know you're not listening now because you don't even listen to, and you don't have to like wake up on Sunday morning when you millennial guys sleep or whatever. All you have to do is when you're at work and I'm already paying you to be here, instead of turning on the bookie, 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 dance music in the back room, just turn on the radio show. And it's just 1 hour, right? Maybe closer to 2 if you listen to the AfterSchrock. But it's just 1 hour, and then you're in the loop. You know what I said. When customers call and say, Thor's talking about this thing with USB drives, and they're going slower than they used to because of the update, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? All right. So Carolyn, I would recommend you become a Schrock Desk subscriber, and then we can do that stuff for you over the Schrock Desk. Yep, Lee, we did send out a call to people that we believed had not purchased Safe Upgrade yet. So we sent it on Friday, and the call had already completed. There's 2 ways we can send a call. When we expect a customer to be pressing 1 to transfer back to the service center to make a purchase or something, we send the calls 1 at a time. And we wait for that call to complete before we send another one. So that way, because sometimes we leave a voicemail, and then we make another call. So then those customers call back while we have somebody on the phone. We don't want to have people just calling back. If we could send out all 20,000 calls at one time. Ba-boom. That would not be a wise thing to do. So basically when we send the call, this call was a bulk call because there weren't a lot of people. There was only about 50 or 60 people that bought last time that haven't bought this time. And so we wanted to make sure they all knew what was going on. They're not on vacation or something. So we sent out a call flyer. But somehow some people got in that call that already had purchased. So we don't know if maybe there was an email change or maybe there was a mistake in our database query. So we're going to look into that Monday and figure out what happened. Are you joking, Roger? I'm on ZDNet right now. Hold on a second. ZDNet. They don't usually publish news stories on the weekend. I don't see anything about a May delay. All right, let me Google it. 1903 delayed. The next version will be officially called Windows 10 May 2019. Public release delayed. The operating system May, yeah, oh my gosh, this is like breaking news, guys. We're now expecting the newer version to arrive what? Microsoft has officially confirmed it's going to call the next version of its desktop operating system the Windows 10 May 2019 update. While we were expecting the newer version to arrive this month, the Windows maker said it would like to run the version through the release preview ring a little bit longer. Yeah, because it's full of bugs. Yes, So we were a little concerned about the number of bugs. Like that's why we're like, we can't make another 150 safe upgrades available this time if they're going to release this, because we're going to end up in support hell if we do that. Let's see. This means the feature update will instead be released next month. Okay. So thank you very much for the heads up on that, Roger. All right. Windows may update, spend more time in release preview rings. All right. So yeah, I might just do a Facebook post about this here in a little bit, that it's going to be pushed until May. So okay, it's delayed until May, so it won't happen any day now. But I didn't know that when I said that an hour ago, because in the last hour it's been delayed. So happy day there. So see, you guys, it takes a village, right? No, I have the awesomest listeners. So anyway, so it doesn't change the fact that you still need to get it while they're available, because even though they're going to leave it in the preview ring longer, when I say rings, it's a testing ring. So the center ring is like the hardcore people who expect it all to blow up and know how to fix it. And then it goes progressively into wider rings until it gets into the release ring. And then everybody gets it. And so right now they're in the ring that's right next to everybody, and they're having problems. And Microsoft was like, whatevers. And we're going to release it anyway. This delay is actually a really welcome thing. And it gives us a little bit more time too. It also, if they do actually solve some of the issues that they were having with it, it will reduce the service expectation that we are going to have through Safe Upgrade, and which means we can make more Safe Upgrades available if they do fix the stuff. So that actually is good news. But you have a little bit more time, but do it while you're thinking about it. All right. How about the comprehensive Thor's Platinum Protection Plan monthly subscription? Oh my gosh, the Thor's monthly. Oh golly, it would include radical things like data recovery insurance, like in case your hard drive goes bad, and like, you guys, you have no idea how many products we consider that we don't do. We actually did consider data recovery insurance. The problem is how do you track that? So do I record your hard drive serial number? And if you bring in a hard drive with the matching serial number, you have insurance on that hard drive? What if you got a new hard drive under warranty? Do we record the new serial number, or do you just have data recovery insurance on that drive? Is it per drive or per computer or per customer? There are so many things, guys, that we think about doing that never meet the light of day. And one big thing in the Schrock household. Okay, let me hit you upside the head with some industry dilemma. So in the computer industry, people are using fewer computers, right? Used to be everybody had 2 or 3 computers at home. Now they've got a smartphone and a tablet and a computer. So smartphones and tablets are becoming less repairable. Apple now has security coded the screens of their devices. You can't even replace the screen of a new iPhone without an Apple authorized tool. So unless you're an Apple authorized repair center, which Apple will not authorize repair centers within a certain geographical distance of an Apple store, and we're kind of across the street from the Apple store. So we're not going to get authorized. So how are we going to do cell phone repair if we can't fix the world's most popular cell phone? That makes no sense. So that's one dilemma. So we have fewer computers, which means fewer people using fewer computers means fewer computer problems to fix, which means that the repair pie is getting smaller. Add to that computers are generally becoming less repairable. They're soldering memory chips onto the motherboard. Their Macs the hard drives are built into the logic board. So even if your hard drive goes bad, we can't even take it off the logic board to recover it because it's security coded to the logic board and it's on the logic board. You have to remove the storage chips and read them and then copy them and then put them back, and it's a nightmare. So now the pie is getting smaller, right? So now we have disaffected IT people basically being, everybody's an IT person because kids grew up with it now. So they're putting up their shingles and saying, I fix computers, I fix computers. One thing I wanted to cover on the show, and I didn't, and it just popped into my head, I'm going to cover it before I forget. There was a news report on KETV Channel 7 about a local Bellevue computer repair shop providing, well, the headline said, in true journalistic fashion, KETV, you're better than this. Company is doing free data recovery for flood victims. Cool, right? In the story, company is doing 75% off data recovery. So by the time you get there, it's probably only 50% off, right? Because I mean, the deal just keeps getting worse the further you read through the story. But when you read the article, if you just read the headline, you would think, I'm going to go to this computer shop and get free data recovery, and that's going to be awesome. Nobody ever thinks about the quality of the recovery experience. So when I say recovery experience, normally when you talk about an experience, a service experience, you're talking about, how did I feel through the checkout process? Oh, it's all touchy-feely. No, when I talk about data recovery, there's only one aspect of that experience that truly matters, and that's the data. Do you get the data or not? Are we successful or not? Yes, price blows. Price is expensive. We're doing half-off data recovers for flood victims, which takes it down just below our cost. I posted on Facebook, you saw us getting the flood damaged hard drives in. You saw I took it apart and took pictures as I disassembled the drive to show you what the inside of a flood damaged hard drive looked like. And that one was relatively clean. This guy at this computer repair shop, in the news article, said, oh, I basically just got super lucky. He plugged, this drive was submerged in river water, and he just plugged it in and tried it. You know, you can do that at home. You know, if you have a submerged hard drive that, you know, take your hard drive, go drop it in a mud puddle for a week, okay? And then bring it back inside and plug it in. And if it works, you're now a data recovery engineer. Look at you go. That's how you get it done for free. Because if I plug it in and it works, it's free. And if I plug it in and it doesn't work, it's lost forever. And he's right. It is lost forever if you plug it in and spin those disks up with a bunch of river garbage in there. Oh my goodness. Literally, I'm reading, it's 6 in the morning. The baby woke up early. My wife needs some sleep. So I'm downstairs with the baby, and I'm reading this on my phone, and I'm like, I sound like Beaker, you know, because I'm trying not to, like, what is this guy doing? Like, you don't, what gave him the right to take a drive that holds that, who knows, baby pictures, wedding albums, video of first steps, lost teeth, you know, things that are really important to people, dead spouses, all in that little box. And he took that and just plugged it in. Just, let's see if this works. I'm not naming the company. I'm not telling. The guy on his website does take a jab at us, though. Like, I may not have a radio show, but all we do is computer repair. Good, great, awesome. That's why you just moved to Old Town Bellevue. Got it. We actually rented a bay 2 doors down from the guy for 2 years, and he never noticed it. We were right next door. That's where our Bitcoin mine was, and you know, he probably heard the Bitcoin mine, but he didn't know it was ours. But anyway, the funny thing about this is, guys, if you have a hard drive that's damaged by floodwaters, there is a difference between Joe Blow at Joe Blow's computer repair that's just going to plug it in and hope to get lucky and freely admit that he's just hoping to get lucky, and a company like AfterSchrock that has made the hundreds of thousands of dollars investment in equipment and training and personnel to actually get your data back. Now, we're not going to do it for free because we can't. We just can't. We go broke. But we understand, like, these people have lost everything. So yeah, if we take your hard drive apart and all the water seals held up great, no debris got in, we're going to let the moisture evaporate out of there, then we might just try to spin it up and see if we get lucky. After we know we're not going to cause permanent damage by spinning it up to see if we get lucky. And if we get lucky, we're not going to charge you anything. But boy, if the heads are bad and that thing is wet inside and you just plug it in, you've blown the amplification modules, you've blown the heads, you've damaged the platters potentially, you've broken pretty much everything you can break in the hard drive now, and you've guaranteed yourself an $1,800 repair. Whereas if we would have just done it right, it could have been free to like $200. So please, for the love of all things, if you want to take it to the lucky guy, I understand. Because sometimes if you don't have any money to do it because you've literally lost everything, I understand that. I would rather you take that hard drive and put it in a bag of rice and forget about it for a year than permanently destroy it. Because lack of money is a temporary thing, right? Those memories on the hard drive, that's a permanent thing. So it might be a year, it might be 5 years, it could be 10 years from now. You could be in a completely different financial situation than you are now. Keep the hard drive. Take care of it, dry it out, bag it up, static bag it, seal it up. It's going to corrode like 60, but we can still get it back as long as nobody powers it up trying to get lucky. So anyway, I wanted to do that during the radio show, but I try really hard not to say bad things about competitors because number one, that's not what this platform is about. This platform is about being positive and helping people. But there are times when boneheadedness can actually make people have really, really sad things happen. And we want to make sure that we don't have that happen, at least to Schrock listeners, okay? So there we go. Let's see. Not surprising if true. There is something to be said for cloud backup. You know, there is, Ray. And, you know, one of the things that we need to do at Schrock is we need to get our own cloud going for backup for customers. Cloud backup is the most ridiculously overpriced, holy on the market. People pay ridiculous sums of money to back up their data. And cloud storage is like pennies per gigabyte. Pennies per gigabyte, especially if you don't touch the backup. If we can put it in Amazon cold storage, which is like they're deep, not super redundant, not going to access it for 90 days storage, that because when do you access your backups, right? But here's the problem. Cloud storage has some expectations with it. So number one, like Carbonite. If you have Carbonite, you back up your information, and when you back it up, I can access my backups from anywhere. Why would you want to access your backup from anywhere? Are you making changes to your backup file and then they're synchronizing it back to your hard drive? So let's take this a step further. Why do you even have a hard drive? Why are you saving anything on it? Why don't we just put it all in the cloud? Is that not where we're going? Maybe Schrock needs a customer cloud where your stuff is all saved in a cloud. And, you know, we've talked about this before, and this is a raging debate in the Schrock household. I am of the firm opinion that in the next, like now, we need to convert hardware into a service. People don't want to go buy new laptops or desktops. They want to have a computer, and when the computer breaks, they want a new computer. That's the way everything's going. You heard me fighting that trend on the radio for an hour today. No matter how hard I fight or how long I talk, hear my voice going, people are going to do it anyway. So if you can't beat them, join them, right? So let's make the hardware a service. You get a laptop, you pay a monthly rate for it. That monthly rate includes antivirus, secure updater, drive advisor, all your safe upgrades. It's the Schrock Thor Platinum. It even includes the laptop. Why not? Then we could put all the storage in the cloud too. You wouldn't even have to transfer your data to move to a new laptop. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, and it's super secure because you can only access it from your Schrock laptop. We're not going to get fancy and give you a bunch of apps and everything. No, you're going to use this laptop. This is the service. This is the delivery method. Maybe if you want a Schrock phone, we could, I don't know. But so I don't know. It almost, they call that a private cloud. It's a private cloud, not a public cloud. And then you can have a hybrid cloud. So technically it would be called a hybrid cloud because we'd be using Amazon storage and a private login process together to create a hybrid cloud that would allow you to store all of your information and basically not have a hard drive anymore. You still have to have a hard drive to boot Windows. But then if Windows blows up, you know, all your stuff is saved in the cloud. So all you would do is, you know, get it fixed and then log back in and all your stuff is still in the cloud. I need more developers, guys. We have more ideas than I have developers, honestly. But the raging debate in the Schrock household is the lovely Kimberly thinks that idea is never going to work. That people are not going to pay monthly to have a laptop. They're going to want to buy the laptop and own the laptop. And I know there are some people who will want to do that. And we're not talking about super fancy laptops here. We're talking about the entry-level laptops, the ones that you're going to use and throw away in 2 years. Because some of these laptops are going to walk away. Some people are going to go and they're going to put the $100 deposit down and their first $25 monthly installment, and then they're going to walk out the door and we're never going to hear from them again. Some people are going to tell us, I don't put anything on my credit card, so I don't use credit cards. And we're going to tell them, well, you have to have a credit card to do this deal because we have to auto bill it to your credit card. But I don't do that. Well, then you can't have the deal. But that's not fair. Well, then you can't have the deal. So there's some people who are going to buy it still, right? Because they're of self-imposed limitation. But I think it would work really well. I think having one price for the hardware and the security and everything together in one place. Now imagine you're a company and you need to get new laptops for your whole staff. And we handle your website, your email, your laptop, your data backup, everything. Now you don't need a server. You don't need a domain server anymore because everyone's data is already in the cloud and backed up and accessible from wherever they're at. You just have to have internet. And that's the next issue. That'll be the next one is we have customers who don't have internet at home. And they get upset with us because they have to have internet at home for anything anymore. All right, last call for questions, guys, or my voice is going to completely die here. And then how long did I make it? 50 minutes? Okay. Woo. Reasonable. MDM. What does MDM mean, Ray? Thor's Platinum Protection Plan. That's Thor's PP. That's like TPP. Wait, that's the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We probably should come up with our own acronym. Thor's Protection. We should probably call it Schrock something, as a
SPP.
The Tech Hammer. No. SPP. Yep. The Optimum Protection Plan. We just call it OPP. Why not? It's been used. Everybody remembers it. Okay. So last thing, and then I've got to go, guys, because I'm dying here. My son has a football camp today, so we had to go. He put on his cleats, of course, for the first time yesterday. And guess what? Monster Foot has grown like 3 sizes since last fall. So we had to get him new cleats. So we went over to Dick's, where they had 6 different sets of cleats to choose from for football, because it's not football season. And 3 of them were youth and 3 were adults. So you had 3 choices, right? And one of them, no joke, it looked like a shoe that had been dipped in gold. Like it was gold, like metal. And I'm just like, for real? I almost want to buy my son the golden shoe so that when he goes on the field, the coach is like, what is that? Because he's a lineman, he's not the fastest guy. He's got golden shoes though. So no, we didn't buy him the golden shoes. We bought him the Nike ones, which I was like, I don't want to buy him Kaepernick shoes. I don't know. But anyway, that was all there was. So that's what I got. And so we buy the shoes. And at the checkout line, they're like, what number is the rewards card under? And, I'm just joking. I'm like, 8675309. And the manager, who was maybe in her 30s, early 40s, maybe 30s for sure, if you're watching, she laughed. She laughed out loud. The checker snickered because the manager was laughing. And my son just looked at me like, whose phone number is that, you moron? And I was like, never mind, Jake. You had to be there in the 80s. So, and then, of course, she hasn't learned yet. You just don't try to explain these things. You just let it go. And she's like, no, it was like a song, back then. And there was like a phone number in it. And they would sing this phone number. And it became popular. And people would call the phone number. And if you were a business, you wanted that phone number. So, yeah, let's just call it 8675309 tech support plan. That rolls right out. All right, guys. Mobile device management, MDM. Yeah. All right. I'll go brainstorm this over the week, guys. It sounds like we have a little bit more time here until May for Safe Upgrade, but do make sure you pick up your copy if you haven't done so already before they're sold out. And we don't know if we're going to add more yet. Last time we added 150 more on launch day just to make sure there were some available. We sold out of those, which we did not expect. They wanted me to add more. Alfonso was like, he builds the web stuff. And so the Schrock store is the most productive online marketplace he's ever built. So he's always like looking at the numbers, like, look at what I did, like, this is amazing. And he's like, Thor, we need more licenses. And I'm like, no. All the Schrock desk seats are full. We're no more licenses right now. I'm like, we can create a license every time someone burns a license, Alfonso, but you have to wait 24 hours after they burn the license. You can create a new one. And he was like, so every day he's like, okay, I can create like 50 more today, and he'd go create 50 more. And then, people were buying it like for months afterward too. So so yeah, it's one of those things that if you want to make sure that you don't get the update forced to you, we have some people who've dropped their computers already off in the service centers. We've been just sitting on their computers. And we tried to tell them, we don't know when this is going to happen. You don't want to drop your computer off yet. But they did. So so now we're just going to have to call them back and be like, well, it's going to be May at some point now. They don't tell you when in May, so it could be the end of May. So you really probably don't want to leave your computer here for 2 months. Come get it, please. Maybe have us do a maintenance checkup while it's in here. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us on the program. I appreciate you listening and watching the show. Please tell your friends about Schrock. Word of mouth is the best recommendation that we can get. If you know someone who's been affected by flood damage, let them know that Schrock is doing data recovery for half off on flood damaged hard drives. We are also, and this includes like external hard drives, flash drives, all that stuff. We're also doing no labor computer repairs. So if you have a computer that's damaged and it's repairable, we'll repair it for no labor, with just the cost of the parts. We also are quietly offering the ultimate upgrade sale still for customers who have flood damage, because most of the time, totally submerged computers, you don't want to repair them. You're just going to replace them. And so the ultimate upgrade is definitely the way to go for that. All right, guys, have a great Sunday. We'll talk to you soon.